All right, then. Here we go. So, it happened. ArenaNet finally did it. They've stalled longer than I stalled to react to this trailer. ArenaNet has released the release date and a very interesting gameplay trailer as well for Ender Dragons. Let's take a look. Okay, let's have a look. Little fishing scene here, guys. Okay? Yeah, we stalled for nothing. Ooh. That is very loud. It's always airships, man.
Ambassador's dispatch. Queen's eyes only. The Empire of Cantha is not what we remember.
Oh,
they are the most
it's the Empress.
And
they think we're a bunch of losers.
Thanks to their Jade tech. And they don't trust us. We have to show them that we're on their side.
Ooh, look at those fish. Hologram fish. Jade bots. Look at that. Mega gliding. Finally a solution for people who don't waypoint. Self-reviving. You can go on a cool cyberpunk style thingy. You can go in a guild hall that's running at really low FPS for some reason. Now it's better though. Oh, Arborstone. That looks pretty sick. Average Guild Wars 2 player spotted.
The Aether Blades are back. Now they're planning something big in Cantha.
Azura.
If we don't stop
Oh, it's
them,
my trend. Oh, you're a strike mission boss.
they'll plunge Tyria into war.
Insane. Be a mech. Yeah. Be a spectre. Be a virtuoso. Gunblade. Underwater. Look at that. Look at that. That looks pretty cool, actually. Ooh, a slow-mo shot. I like it. The cinematography. Conjure Amalgamate. Get value out of that model. Mitrin strike mission. Giant fish.
The secrets of Cantha.
Look at that. Look at it.
Dragons.
Boom. There it
To
is.
uncover them all
Ooh.
before it's too late.
The future's Cantha is now, and by now we mean we mean February 28th. There we go. Look, technically still February, right at the last second, guys. Buy that Ultimate Edition now using my referral link. Oh, yeah. Very cool wallpaper splash out there. So let's actually go ahead and look at this, right? Let's actually talk about this. Let's break it down here a little bit. So I do really like the way they've actually handled this story breadcrumb. Just let's get the lore out the way first, guys. I do like that. Okay, the Aetherblades, they're crashing down. They're coming over here to interfere with Cantha. We're obviously going to follow them for whatever reason. We're going to get like, oh yeah, the Aetherblades are causing trouble. Instead of like, oh, there's a giant dragonfish, we better go do something about that. No, we're actually going to go over there for a more kind of ordinary, more grounded reason. I really like that. I also really like that the Cantha's not like, oh, our heroes, we love you. They're like, guys, you're a bunch of losers. We've got green robos. What the hell do we need you for, right? Look at my, like, pretzel hair, right? We don't care about you. We've got a Jade robot that can 1vx all of these Aether Blades. It's no problem, right? It's not a big deal. I think that's really cool. I like that. I think that does set the tone a little bit lower than what we've had so far, and I think it is going to be a really interesting storyline that I think will feel a bit more believable, a bit more grounded, which I think Guild Wars 2 has been struggling with for a long time right now. So yeah, big fan of that, actually, to be honest. Like, that's pretty cool. I also like that right at the end here, they set up this like, ooh, wow, yeah, this is classic video game trailer stuff. You've got to set up the big ominous thing. It's, you set up the Lich King, you set up Deathwing, right? Whatever you want to set up, right? I like this. This is a great shot, really showing off Guild Wars 2's graphical strengths, in my opinion. This type of thing with all these effects flying all over the place is where Guild Wars 2 looks really good, I think. Like these kind of like slightly weird, otherworldly appearances. This looks great. Like all these effects are really cool. So I like the way they set up the lore here, right? That's pretty dank. We've got the Azura. It's the Aetherblades. It's not just about dragons, right? Something's on fire there. That's pretty exciting. And the other stuff here as well also looks great. I was really worried that the meta events and bosses with this would actually go a little bit more towards the direction of Path of Fire, a bit more ambient, a little bit less engaging. That is obviously not the case now. We actually have this. This appears to be an actual giant fish. Like when they, look at this monumental large-scale events, it looks like we are actually going to have an underwater massive boss, which honestly, that sounds pretty cool. I mean, this will be a bit of a first, right? We haven't really had a lot of underwater, like massive, massive boss gameplay, but looks like that is about to change. Yeah, exactly. It's the Leviathan, kind of a bit of a Guild Wars 1 callback, I believe. Actually, I think there's one of these frozen in Jade, I believe, in Guild Wars 1. So now that's not the case. We're going to fight that thing underwater. We have this thing here. This is probably a legendary mob, not like a full mega world boss. I guess technically a world boss, right? But it's not like a structure boss. This looks like it's going to be a legendary mob here. Could also be a strike mission, but I think it looks like there are lots of players here, so I don't think it's a strike mission. Could be, though, actually. We don't necessarily know. But look, really cool model here. It's clearly got some powerful attacks with it leaping up in the air, all that sort of thing. Smashing down there with its cool hand, right? I love that. I've got to say, I'm actually really impressed by ArenaNet with this trailer. This is actual hype. Right? All the other stuff to me has been extremely lukewarm, like very lukewarm. I'm like, a little tepid. Oh, look at this rock, right? This is what I'm talking about. Thrilling boss battles, giant Jade thing that's pounding people with the raid model, open world boss here. I love that. That's awesome. They're showing off that they've got the strike missions here. This is where strike missions really kind of backfire a little bit because no one knows what this means. Like, really? It's super difficult it's really hard to express what a strike mission is without referencing something else, right? And hopefully people just kind of understand the lingo eventually, but that definitely does hamper it a little bit, that Guild Wars 2 loves to name things that exist in other games, but rename them. That's definitely a bit of a punish here, overall here. I've got to say, the environments look amazing, right? Like, this is one thing that Guild Wars 2 has always done extremely well, is delivering variety, right? In all of the different environments, right? We have this kind of this Jade palace going on here. I think some people aren't gonna like this. It's like New Kaineng. This looks so out of place, but in a good way, right? Like, I presume this is Kaineng City, right? And it looks like this is from Cyberpunk, right? This looks like a sci-fi game, right? At this point. And I think that's fantastic, right? We are blending genres together here. We have these holographic fish, this giant Jade pillar, right? With dragons coming around it, right? These almost like skyscraper style stuff over there, but then you also have these more traditional buildings blended in with these kind of Jade rails that it looks like you can ride, kind of glide around on, with this mastery of some kind. With the Jade bot, you can like go around on these little kind of like these what do you call them, right? Like gliding rails or whatever they are. Like, looks pretty cool. I like that. Like the way all of this is blended together is super interesting. Like all the different technologies. Yeah, it's very, very cool. I think just from what we've seen in the map stream, and look at that. Look at that. You can see that even with a relatively old engine, the art team, the lighting, right, has been done extremely well here. These are going to be some incredibly impressive locations to take a look at, in my opinion. Very, very good stuff. Again, I like that we're showing characters here. Show off the villain. Show off this evil Azura with different colored eyes, right? Show off MightyTeapot about to burn everyone or something like that with this giant, all these Aether Blade ships or whatever's going on here. Look at all that stuff. Look at this giant creature thing. Yeah, it's fantastic. It really does. I think ArenaNet's done their game justice here, which, to be honest, I haven't seen them do very well very often. They do get memed a lot for their slightly weird marketing, and I think rightly so. But this time, actually, no. Music sounds great too in this trailer. It was very exciting to listen to. It was engaging. I like the idea that it was, I think what was a really good choice, it was having it be Casimir kind of reporting to the Queen about some details that are going on there. It's a really nice little story tease. And it kind of gets you in the element that we're in a foreign land, right? It's like, they're not sure about us, right? I think that's great. You have that kind of almost like secretive, diplomatic element to it too, which is actually going to be heavily interwoven into the story. They talked about this on a few streams where you are going to be interacting with the Empress, with these different factions, and you're with the Aetherids, right? There's going to be loads of different people that you're going to have to negotiate with. I think that this is I think this really sets the scene for the expansion in my mind. Like, this really tonally hits it really well. I think I mentioned this before, but I really like the cinematography here as well. Like, showing these big, sprawling landscapes. It's great, you know? It's really, really good. I like the holographic whale there as well. Just a nod to all the Guild Wars 2 Gem Store enjoyers. Yeah. I am very, very happy with this trailer, actually. This is very, very cool. I guess I should say a few things about the Jade bot mastery, I guess. So we don't know exactly what it does. We will find out in a later stream, so I guess I won't comment too much. It does look like it does affect combat. Look, I hate to be a party pooper. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have to do it. I'm really sorry. I've got to be a bit of a party pooper here. I am not a huge fan of stuff like auto revive, okay? And that is exactly what's going on here. It auto revives you. All of like the movement stuff, maybe some utility functions it has, like kind of gliding on the rails there, that's good. But the fact that you can res yourself, I'm not 100% sure about that. I think that replacing key mechanics like pressing F to revive other players with a mastery that may do it automatically is maybe not ideal. Now, I very much doubt that this will work in instance PvE. I think it will be an open world thing only, right? I don't think it will be it won't be usable in stuff like World of Sword PvP or, you know, instance PvE. So it's not the end of the world. But in general, I'm generally against this stuff because it tends to cause players to rely on the mastery instead of understanding the underlying mechanic. I think you really saw this with the Icebrood Saga masteries, where players didn't learn about break bars because of the special action hotkey from the way station and, of course, the giant laser beam. They learned to press the action key, right? It didn't actually teach the underlying mechanic very effectively. It only taught the fact that if you see the blue bar, hit the action key, right, to destroy them immediately. But I don't know. Yeah, I think there's another little thing here to look at as well, and that's the underwater combat element. That is interesting. Like, we're finally getting the payoff for them. They reworked the underwater combat skills a long time ago. It looks like that's actually going to be relevant now, as we're going to be battling this Leviathan, this giant creature underwater. Honestly, that's going to be interesting to see. I don't think they'll do. I don't think they'll go that crazy on it. Only like a little bit. They'll do like a little smidge of underwater combat, but it will certainly be there. Which I think that will be something that will probably impress new players to Guild Wars 2. Like, a lot of other MMOs don't really do stuff like underwater combat. And now that we have stuff like Naga and the Leviathan, I imagine there will be a decent amount of it in Cantha. So a little bit more water than we're used to. And you even have the underwater, like, you know, you sink to the bottom and walk along there. I actually really like this. I think this is a really cool thematic thing, that you can walk along the bottom of the water with siege. I know how cool that looks. I really like that. Man, the shots are too fast. But look at that. You can walk along the bottom there. It's great. I am a big fan of the Siege Turtle van, okay? It looks really cool. It's fun to drive it as well when we had the beta, but yeah. I think that basically kind of sums up a lot of my thoughts on this. I guess oh yeah, one more thing. That's stall again. The release date, it's the 28th. The release date is the 28th of February. Now, there are a few questions this does raise to me. That's obviously literally the last day of February, and they committed really hard to February. But I wonder if they, because it is a weird day to release. They're releasing it on a Monday, like right at the start of a work week. So obviously it doesn't go into a weekend. Now, one advantage of it being on a Monday is that they'll be able to address bugs and problems with it very easily. Because if you release on a Friday, right, people aren't necessarily in the office over the weekend, so it can be hard to address bugs. On Monday, they'll have the entire week to make the launch as smooth as possible, which is pretty good in that regard. But definitely a little unfortunate if you aren't able to get time off. If you want to be a greasy grinder, you're going to have to wait until you're done with your real life stuff where you can pump some Ender Dragons or pretend to be sick, I guess, to get that done there as well. But yeah, I don't actually necessarily mind it, I guess. It's fine. I think the longer they delay it, the more time they have to make sure it's all polished up and ready to go. So a later release is good. But the fact that it is the latest possible in February that it could be, it does make me wonder. I wonder if they would want to delay it at this point, because would they actually want to delay? the expansion a little bit more? Do they feel a little bit rushed? I imagine that's always going to be, the answer to that is always going to be yes, right? Like no game is going to ship perfectly finished, at least not one as massive as an MMO or something like that. But yeah, I think, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be the harbinger of doom, okay? But I almost feel like maybe they're expecting a few problems, right? Like they're expecting a few bugs, and that's why they made it as late as possible. Like, come on, we got to get as much time into this. Get all the hours in there. Get that February. It could be because they want to optimize their release date. There are a lot of other games releasing in February. You've got Lost Ark, you have Elden Ring, and so on. So maybe they wanted to just not be on the exact same day, so they have their own hub of buzz, and that was the best day to do that. I think that's another kind of like viable explanation of why they would go about doing this. But overall, not a bad time there. It gives us plenty of time to prepare ourselves, ready to go. And hey, 1 month from now, we are going to be in the End of Dragons, and we will find out all the mysteries of Kanda, all the mysteries of the dragons, the mystery of the story there as well. So that's it. That is it. Finally, it has been dropped. Very, very good trailer. I hope this becomes the new standard for ArenaNet. I want to see trailers like this for a lot of things in the game. Like this kind of caliber for a major release that is dropping features, content, stuff like this. This, in my opinion, is how you get people excited about the game, right? Okay? Let it not be said that we cannot give credit and praise where it's due, because I do think ArenaNet did a fantastic job here with this cinematic trailer, or the gameplay cinematic trailer hybrid thingamy there. So yeah, very, very good, okay?